So what next? Now take us through the process of applying to the UK as a nurse.
Well, it's quite an easy one. Of all the countries I know, the UK is an easy one to go into if you're a nurse. Basically, after the English test, all you have to do is register. Uh, Register to be registered. It's a pre-registration whereby you have to register to be registered. Do an exam, which is basically no problem at all. And then after that,
A virtual exam, right?
yeah, it's a virtual. Most of them are computer based.
Okay.
So you do it online once you register with them, and then basically they give you a go ahead. So they do have two sets of exam. One you do it here, and then the other one you do it after knowing the policies and of course after being introduced to the working conditions of the UK. So you have to go over there to do the one, the practical one
The
over there.
practical one. So I want my viewers, because they are watching, they want to know. There's a nurse out there who's watching, and he or she wants to know the process to being a nurse in the UK. I want us to go step by step. So first step, now take me through what are the process, also the documents he or she should be having in hand. So you've said the English test, right? Is it the first document, or there are also other, like your university degree or your nursing degree, or like I would like you also to indicate them as we go through, so that the nurse who's following, she or he can be with us here.
Yeah, so basically, at this point where you're thinking about going abroad, you
Yes.
should be having your nursing degree.
Okay.
I should be having your certificates, your
Your nursing
KCSE.
degree. So diploma.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So
So
your diploma.
diploma or degree nursing.
Okay. In nursing.
Yeah, and then you should be having your KCSE certificate
KCSE is a must.
is a must. Yeah,
Okay.
and a KCP certificate.
KCP.
Yeah, because they
Okay.
want to know you've gone through the process of
The
schooling
education process.
from the point of primary education to all the way to attaining your degree.
Okay. So
So
we start with
once
the KCP. KCP, KCSE, we have the your degree or your diploma.
yeah, and your licensure, you should be licensed in Kenya to practice.
Or you, oh, okay,
Yeah,
you have to be a licensed nurse in Kenya. You
for
should
yeah,
also have that a confirmation,
you
right?
should also have that.
So those are like six documents so far.
So it should be a KCP,
KCSE
KCSE, university degree
or
certificate,
okay,
and then a nursing license, a
those are
valid one,
yeah,
and then a nursing certificate.
a nursing certificate. So
Yeah,
this certificate, where do you get it from?
from Nursing Council of Kenya.
Okay, so we have five documents so far. Okay, proceed.
And then what else? Yeah,
A
those five.
passport,
Yeah, should be having a passport as well.
an English test.
And now that is before the English test.
Okay.
And then now the most stressful part of it, you have the knowledge as a nurse. So the other exam, you need to do to show them that you have the nursing knowledge isn't a stress at all. So the stressor here comes because uh, they grade you professionally on the other side of the English test. So it's kind of a stressor. Most people fail at the point of trying to acquire the certificate of IELTS, the one that shows you can practice in English.
Oh, so most people fail when they're doing the English test.
Yeah, that is the big stress.
Okay.
So at this point, you're thinking about they're thinking about a structure. So most people fail there. That's why most of them give up. And I do feel uh, once you get past that, the other bit should be a walkover.
Okay, so you have your English test. What next? Like after there, you mentioned something like there's a pre-registration. Does it require some fees or anything? And then after that pre-registration, tell us that after that there's an exam. So after that exam, what next? Even tell us the process through until you start processing for your visa, and then now you're going to the UK.
So once you're done with the English test, right, you want to register with the nursing. It's an NMC, it's Nursing and Midwifery Council of the UK. So once you register, you needed to pay a sum of I think £190 for your registration. Once you get approved, they send you an email for you to register with Pearson VU. They do have a
Okay.
center in Westlands, Nairobi.
Okay.
So when you register with Pearson VU, you register to do the exam now, the pre-registration exam that qualifies you as having the knowledge that you need to practice.
Okay.
So after the registration with Pearson VU,
You do the exam at Westlands now.
you do the exam, you book the exam. So that should be That should cost about £400, which is about
Okay.
60,000 shillings.
Now, these £400 is for what exactly?
So the first one is for registering with the NMC, which is
Okay.
regulatory body for nurses in the UK. The other one, I think £110 should be for Pearson VUE registration, and
Okay.
then the other bit should be about £130 to register for the exam.
For the exam now.
Yeah.
So tell us about the exam before we continue with the process. Is there a score, a minimum score for any nurse who's
Well,
doing the exam? Is there a
yeah,
minimum, or you have to do the exam and then now proceed?
yeah. There's a minimum score. I
Okay.
do think it's about 50%.
Okay.
So it's just a walk over that one.
Okay. 50% of out of what?
Out of I think 100.
Okay.
There should be 75 questions, and you have to score 50% of them.
Is it just one exam, one paper, or?
Yeah, it's just a computer-based thingy
Okay.
exam whereby you just need to just do it.
Just one paper, right?
Yeah, just one paper.
And you just rate it out of that one paper, and then you
Yeah,
proceed to the next
yeah.
step. Okay, that should be easy. So, what's next after now? You've done your exam, you've registered, you've paid all this, you've passed, you've gotten your 50%, right? Now, what is the next stage?
So at this point, you're pre-registered.
Okay.
You're allowed to look for a job.
Now you start sourcing for a job online.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
start sourcing for a job. I'm quite sure you heard about President Kenyatta saying that we need to send nurses over to the UK previously.
Yeah, I heard.
So before then, there were agencies actively recruiting from Kenya, and then the WHO recommended that Kenya has a shortage of nurses. So the agencies stopped doing that from Kenya. So at this point in time, people source for the jobs individually. So
Okay.
there are individual employers who are ready to take up nurses from here,
Okay.
pay the visa, traveling fee, and accommodation fee for about a month
Okay.
once you arrive in the UK. So
Okay.
it's just about you sourcing for the employer, doing the interview, and passing it, and then the employer will be ready to pay all this for you.
Okay, so what's your story after you've reached this point? You've gone to, so tell us the website you went to. Where did you go? Is there a social media platform you went there and sourced for this employer was posting this job, who's willing to pay for your visa and everything so that you can go work for them? How did you now tell us your story? How did you now proceed from there? After now you've registered, you've passed your exam, now you're sourcing for this job. Now tell them, take us through.
For me, I was lucky because I
Okay.
went there before the Kenyatta Declaration.
Okay.
Yeah, so the agencies were many and they were
Okay.
actively recruiting.
I believe there still are. Are there agencies?
No, I don't
Okay.
think they are.
Okay.
So it's now you sourcing for the employer by
Okay.
yourself.
Okay.
So at the minute, there are still people helping people to source for the jobs, but not actively. They just link you with an employer who then does an interview individually for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now take us through your process before the Kenyatta era.
Yeah, so once I finished my English test, I registered with NMC, which is at Grament, and then went forward, got an agency. So went forward, did an interview. It was once you've done your English test all the way to finding an employer, it shouldn't take you more than 2 months.
It
If
shouldn't
you,
take you more
it
than two
shouldn't take you
months.
more than 2 months,
Okay.
unless probably the capital issue, the financial issue plays a part. But 2 months is enough for you to once you've passed your English test for you to get a job and start the process.
So you were lucky, went to an agency and agency did for you the connection with the
Yeah, yeah.
UK employer. So now tell us now when you approached, how do you like where did you get them? How did you approach them? Now the agencies, but now back then.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So they used to have a link in Kenya. There
Okay.
used to be a broker called Kenyan Nurse. I don't know if
Okay.
he still does this same, but he used to be called Kenyan Nurse. He used to
Okay.
link nurses here with brokers
Okay.
who are basically agencies in the UK. These agencies will go ahead and say probably ask you about your preference, which part or which kind of things you'd consider before moving, and then try to source an interview within the locality or region that suits your preferences. Most of the people really don't have preferences because the weather, it's an island. The UK is an island, so mostly there's no preference about the weather. It rains. It's well, there are 4 seasons. The weather is kind of similar except for Scotland where things get worse. But the other regions are just more or less the same. So after they ask you about your preferences, they kind of say if you don't have any, they link you up to the nearest job offer, and then they just kind of say you'll have an interview. Come in two
So the
weeks,
interview,
fortnight.
sorry, the interview do it online.
Yeah, it's an online
Oh,
thing.
okay, a video one,
So
I
yeah,
believe.
yeah,
Okay.
video one. So you do it online.
So how was yours with your employer?
Well, it's quite easy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite easy because after doing the exam, you are aware about things they ask about because they just have nursing in the UK is quite easy. It's more of you register as either an adult nurse, pediatric nurse, or midwife.
Okay.
In Kenya, you do more or less everything in one
Okay.
bracket.
Okay.
So I went there as an adult nurse.
Okay.
So it was quite easy to maneuver around and know, I'm focusing on this. And they
Okay.
have a code of ethics, a code of practice,
Okay.
and principles that should take
Okay.
even a day to
Oh,
probably get acknowledged there.
okay.
So I did that,
You finished your interview. So
finished
what
my
next?
interview,
Yeah.
and then, of course, now the process was quicker.
Yeah.
Once you do an interview, it takes about 2 months.
So
Every other
what
thing is just
after your interview, what did you do next? Like, was it the visa? What was it?
well, after the interview, the employer does the bigger part.
Okay.
They source out for something they call a certificate of sponsorship.
Okay.
This one is quite vital because you present yourself with it just to show that when I move over there, I'll be having a work. I'll be having work. I should be having somebody to accommodate me for the first few days, which is a requirement, and you should be having a salary at the end of the month, so
Okay.
that they know you're not going there for crime or anything.
Yeah.
So once you have the certificate of sponsorship, are you booked for an interview where you have to provide your travel documents, which is a passport,
Okay.
your residency documents, which is an ID.
So, oh, sorry, before you continue, who books for you the interview? You or your sponsor?
Now, because previously I had an agency, they
Okay.
did that for
Oh,
me.
nice.
But now you have to do it
Yourself.
yourself. You just
Okay.
need to ring the British embassy and just say, probably, I'll show up. I probably need to book an appointment. And then you book an appointment, you show up with your certificate of sponsorship and your passport. So you leave your passport there with your certificate of sponsorship so that they can use that to process your visa.
Okay.
And these days, the visas are quite, fast. Within